guys, I hope you like this new intro I made. It's quite fun. I thought it was a bit more interesting than just my normal opening screen. So I am doing a new painting today of a landscape in watercolour, which I haven't used in quite a while. You'll see in this video I made a few mistakes. I'm not too experienced with watercolour, but I am trying to get better. So I'm starting out here with my sketch, which is quite loose. I know I wanted a focal point to be the building, and I always like to do a lot of greenery in my landscapes. And then here I'm just erasing the lines a little bit so it's not as harsh, and here I'm wetting my paper, and I think I used a little bit too much water. It's definitely tricky to get right when it comes to watercolour, in my opinion. I need a lot more practice, but I never really find the time. Hopefully this weekend I'll get to do some more practice, because it definitely takes practice. See here, already I was unimpressed with my technique on the sky. Not great. I'm planning to work on it though at some point, because I love this medium. I just I don't love the way it looks yet. I'll hopefully be able to link my brushes in the description of this video. What I use quite a few different ones. Yeah, I'm doing the wet on wet technique, and it just creates that really beautiful blurred effect in the paint. I tried to go in there with using some deeper colours, because watercolour does dry lighter, and I think it's important from the videos that I've watched, tutorials, that you do use more pigment than you maybe think you need, so when it dries it doesn't look as light. You can see here I made a water droplet on my sky, and I was like, no, but I tried to cover it up later, as you will see. I used too much water here as well, as it's just all all bubbling up the paper. Here I tried to cover my mistakes. It was just all a little bit of a mess at this point. In my mind I was thinking of giving up, but you know what they say, just carry on. But it is frustrating, definitely. I thought this is really cool as well. You can use your nail to scratch into the painting, and it creates the look of branches. It's pretty cool. Using a smaller brush here to just add little bits of definition, I thought really put some interest into that foreground. And then here I went in with a really dark shade for the shadows of where I wanted my trees to be. Putting in a nice little building here. I love these kind of paintings where you have really blurred watercolour effect, and just have a nice sharp building there across a really beautiful sky. that really stands out. That's what I'm trying to create here. If you've ever seen those paintings, just go on Pinterest. That's what I usually do for my inspiration. It's kind of what I'm going for here. That really nice blurred effect, and then certain sharp areas which really draw the eye. Yeah, look at that cauliflower bloom. That's another thing what I need to work on mainly is the control of how much water I use, because it can definitely mess up a painting, I've found. And here I'm, as the paper has dried slightly, but it's still a little bit damp, it allows you to add in those details without them completely, disappearing and losing their shape. While it's in this state, it's perfect to add those little details. Just with a smaller brush. Nice transition. I'm just adding in some trees here. I wet the paper down again once the paper had dried. That's something to note is important, because else you're going to mess up the paint you put down initially. So that layer has to dry, and then you can wet the paper and apply more paint if you want that blurred effect. It's kind of like in the sky there, which you can see just above the trees. I hadn't let the layer dry before I put more water and paint on top, which is why it looks all muddy and weird, but I do try and cover that up later. And here I am making a big decision. As Bob Ross used to say, you have to now make a decision, I think he says. Yeah, two really bold lines just going straight across my painting right now. Takes a bit of confidence to just do a massive stripe like that, but yeah, I'm adding in my trees, so. And instantly you can see how suddenly the depth of those trees brings out the light in the painting. It's crazy. And here I'm using a really cool brush, which creates the most awesome looking branches. It's such an amazing brush. It seriously changed it for me, branches, because it's got that really nice fine tip. It's almost like using a calligraphy pen or something. The lines are just so fine. It's amazing. I picked it up on a whim thinking, am I going to use this? I did. Yeah, you can just see the eye is drawn in to the building there. I think this is when it sort of started to come together for me, which is a real relief when you reach that point in a painting, because every painting goes through a stage where you're like, this isn't working. I dropped paper. Let me pick this up. Okay. I hope you guys are liking the transitions in this video as well. Again, I'm using CapCut as I always do. Really great. You can create really cool effects on your videos. And here we are covering up that mistake that I made earlier with some nice foliage. I think this worked really well, actually. I was like, thank goodness, because that top left corner was really annoying me. But yeah, I mean, you guys can let me know, but I think I managed to make it work. Again, adding some branch details, but not too much. I still want to keep that nice loose effect. Just zoomed in here for a closer look, because you can see how that tree there, it was very loose and expressive, and with adding the branches you can really, that sounds kind of stupid now that I'm saying it, but you can see that it's a tree. Just adding the branches, it looked kind of like just a blob, but now it has that definition. And here I'm adding some white gouache to add some little highlights. Thought this looked quite nice. Like little sparkles in the shadows. Just adds a bit of interest to those shadows. I don't know if I really loved it too much. I probably should have added less of those in the shadows, or made them a bit more intentional. I'm also adding some to the tree branches here. Yeah, that was the end of that painting. And I'm taking off the masking tape here so you can really see the full effect. And yeah, I was really happy with how this turned out in the end. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the voiceover also. Yeah, I will see you in the next one. Please do like, comment and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys. Bye bye.